First tonight, just in, Caterpillar and the UAW workers are in agreement. The new contract is approved. Now that's according to an update from Caterpillar on their Central Labor Agreement website.
There's a hidden crisis unfolding, and no one is talking about it. Until now. We all want to feel confident in our purchases, believing we're making the right choice. But what if I told you there's a serious issue lurking beneath the surface? One that could change everything we thought we knew about reliability. In this video, we're exposing the unexpected pitfalls no one sees coming. And trust me, some of these will shock you. From costly mistakes that drain your wallet to last-minute surprises that leave you stranded, these hidden problems impact you more than you realize. Stick around until the end, because the final twist will change how you see this entire situation. Ignoring these warning signs could lead to a financial disaster, and missing this information might mean walking straight into the very trap we all want to avoid. Now imagine this. A company that has been the backbone of your town suddenly announces, "We're leaving." How would you feel? That devastating reality became clear when Caterpillar revealed it was shifting key parts of its operations away, leaving countless families facing uncertainty. For decades, Caterpillar helped keep local stores busy, paid taxes that improved schools, and even supported community events. People felt proud that their hard work led to machines used on farms and building sites around the country. They shared a sense of unity and believed Caterpillar was committed to staying put because it had always been a steady force. But now, local leaders are rushing to hold special meetings to see how they can save jobs and calm a worried population. Many parents sit at the dinner table, talking about whether their children should look for jobs in other towns. Neighbors who once felt secure now wonder if their neighborhoods will lose value as families move away. The emotional blow feels huge. People are not just worried about money, they are also worried about losing the identity they built around Caterpillar. A few individuals hope that the company might change its mind. But that hope seems slim as they read official statements hinting that this choice is final. For a lot of residents, the idea that Caterpillar is leaving does not feel like a simple business move. It feels like a break in the community's spirit, leaving many to wonder if the hometown they have loved for so long will ever be the same. Caterpillar's troubling history of outsourcing, as this is not the first time Caterpillar has made a controversial move. And that is a problem. Over the years, Caterpillar has quietly transferred parts of its production to locations where labor costs appear more favorable, or where regulations place fewer demands on large-scale manufacturers. While profit margins may have improved on paper, the cost to the company's public image has grown with each decision. Many critics say this pattern reflects a disregard for long-term community relationships. Instead of celebrating new jobs in the places it once called home, Caterpillar is now associated in some minds with shuttered buildings and boarded-up businesses. When the corporation first ventured beyond national borders, some analysts praised its ability to adapt to a global marketplace. However, that early optimism faded once the repercussions for hometown workers became clear. News outlets began covering strikes, labor disputes, and tense negotiations between union representatives and company management. Grassroots organizations compiled statistics that painted a grim picture of stagnant local economies whenever Caterpillar downsized a facility. These patterns fueled growing skepticism about the company's promises regarding stability and its commitment to domestic industry. The repeated moves gave rise to a sense that Caterpillar, once seen as an American stalwart, had chosen a path of maximizing short-term gains instead of safeguarding the livelihoods of loyal employees. So with this latest move, people are not just upset about a single event. They are wary of a corporation with a track record of chasing new profit incentives at the expense of communities that trusted it for decades. Personal stories. Behind the headlines. For thousands of workers, Caterpillar was not just a job, it was everything. One mother who had worked at the plant for over 15 years recounted how she once believed she could retire comfortably and help her children fund their college education. Another individual, who started sweeping floors in his early 20s, eventually rose to a supervisory role. He had pictured a lifelong career wearing the same uniform until he reached a happy retirement party with co-workers who felt more like family than colleagues. These personal dreams formed the fabric of everyday life for employees who invested years of dedication in a company that promised growth and security. Now, those same individuals face abrupt upheaval. The mother worries about meeting mortgage payments, while the former floor sweeper contemplates shifting his entire skill set to a different line of work. Even the most seasoned employees who once believed seniority would shield them find themselves in limbo. It is the suddenness that stings the most. Many had heard rumors of corporate restructuring, but few expected an outright decision to relocate production on such a grand scale. Their sense of loss is not solely financial, it is tied to the pride they felt building something tangible every single day. That tangible product now symbolizes the looming uncertainty of severance packages, delayed job prospects, and the emotional toll of feeling discarded. Despite the disappointment, a few hold out hope that public pressure may lead to a reversal or a more supportive transition. But a quiet resignation clouds the atmosphere. People realize their future may involve starting all over again, and that is a daunting prospect when their hearts were so deeply invested in a place they called their professional home. Is this the start of something bigger? What if Caterpillar's moves signals a broader crisis in United States manufacturing? Industry experts have already begun highlighting the possibility that other companies observing Caterpillar's cost-saving steps might follow suit. Some believe this decision could kickstart a domino effect, with major manufacturers exploring ways to reduce labor and regulatory expenses. The broader implications could be far-reaching. Fewer factories anchored in domestic towns, a continued drain of well-paying industrial jobs, and a shift in competitive focus towards nations that offer less expensive labor. Local chambers of commerce, as well as state-level leadership, warn that this scenario endangers the wider industrial ecosystem. A single manufacturing plant does not function in isolation. It relies on a web of local suppliers, contracted maintenance crews, and specialized service providers. When a flagship facility relocates, the ecosystem that once thrived around that anchor begins to wither. Suppliers may lose significant contracts, forcing them to lay off workers or close entirely. Trades might not find enough new clients to sustain operations. Over time, entire communities suffer a slow economic deterioration. Observers also point to a potential cultural and intellectual loss. When manufacturing jobs vanish, knowledge of processes and best practices can degrade, leaving future generations with fewer in-depth experiences of how things are built. Some analysts believe this trend threatens the nation's ability to innovate, arguing that hands-on expertise is essential for designing next-generation products. As they look at Caterpillar's choice, they see a company making a financial calculation that might wind up costing the country in ways that go well beyond balance sheets. Indeed, the question haunting many is whether Caterpillar's latest decision is simply the beginning of a steady outflow of manufacturing strength, with consequences that nobody has fully reckoned with yet. A business decision built on numbers. Would you pay $50 an hour when you could pay $5? Caterpillar's answer speaks for itself. For decades, the company stood as a symbol of American industry, employing thousands in communities where its factories were integral to economic stability. But in today's competitive global marketplace, Caterpillar's leadership faced mounting pressures to control costs and maintain profitability. The solution they chose was to relocate a significant portion of their manufacturing operations to Mexico. The financial logic behind this decision is rooted in the stark wage differences between the two countries. In the United States, a production manager can earn over $50 per hour, none of the highest ongoing costs in manufacturing, and this discrepancy in wages alone represents millions of dollars in potential savings over time. However, lower wages are only one part of the financial equation. Mexico offers other financial incentives that cater to large corporations seeking to cut costs. Regulatory requirements are typically less stringent than those in the United States. Environmental compliance, worker safety protocols, and tax obligations are less expensive to manage in Mexico. These relaxed regulations reduce not only direct costs, but also administrative burdens associated with adhering to complex U.S. standards. Additionally, Mexico's proximity to the United States makes it an attractive outsourcing destination due to lower transportation costs compared to relocating production to distant countries in Asia. Global competition further complicates matters. Caterpillar is not just buying for dominance within US borders. It competes with international manufacturers that have already embraced cost-cutting strategies. Companies from Europe and Asia, for instance, have been producing machinery at lower costs for years, putting pressure on Caterpillar to match their pricing. Without strategic moves to remain price competitive, Caterpillar risks losing market share to these rivals. From a purely financial perspective, relocating operations is a calculated decision designed to protect the company's position in a cutthroat industry. Yet, this pursuit of cost efficiency comes with trade-offs. While Caterpillar's accountants may celebrate the short-term gains in profitability, other stakeholders view the move as a betrayal. For the communities that once relied on Caterpillar's presence, these financial motivations feel cold and impersonal, ignoring the human cost of layoffs and economic destabilization. While executives argue that the move was necessary to maintain competitiveness, critics question whether the company's long-term reputation may suffer irreversible damage, cost without cutting corners. But here's the catch. When you save on labor, you risk losing something else: quality. Manufacturing heavy machinery is not just about assembly line speed and efficiency. It requires precision, skilled craftsmanship, and years of experience. For decades, Caterpillar's American workforce developed an expertise that was difficult to replicate, contributing to the company's reputation for producing durable, reliable equipment. By relocating production to lower-wage regions, Caterpillar faces significant risks to maintaining these high standards. In any manufacturing process, reducing costs often results in cutting corners, even when companies promise otherwise. Skilled labor is one of the first areas affected by cost-cutting measures. In regions where turnover is high and wages are low, workers may lack the long-term experience and training that American employees brought to the job. With less investment in worker development, the risk of errors, defects, and product recalls increases. In industries such as construction and agriculture, minor issues with recent Caterpillar products, including complaints about durability and performance. While these issues may not yet amount to a full-blown crisis, they are red flags that suggest the potential fallout from shifting production practices. Competitors are paying close attention, ready to pounce on any sign of declining quality in Caterpillar's offerings beyond production errors. There are other risks tied to supply chain management. Relocating manufacturing operations introduces complexities in logistics, inventory control, and supplier coordination. If mismanaged, these logistical challenges can delay production schedules and increase overall costs, effectively canceling out some of the initial savings. The ripple effects extend to Caterpillar's brand identity. Customers who trust the company to deliver premium equipment may begin to doubt the reliability of products assembled under cost-cutting conditions. In response to these concerns, Caterpillar has reiterated its commitment to quality control. Executives have assured stakeholders that rigorous testing protocols remain in place regardless of where production occurs. However, for many loyal customers, assurances are not enough. The trust that took decades to build could erode quickly if performance issues continue to surface. For Caterpillar, the stakes are high. Any compromise on quality may cost far more in lost trust than the company gains in labor savings. The economic fallout for small businesses: it's not just Caterpillar workers who are hurting, it's everyone around them. When a major employer like Caterpillar closes or downsizes operations, the effects ripple through entire communities. Small businesses that relied on the spending power of Caterpillar employees are often the first to feel the pain. Local diners, grocery stores, repair shops, and even childcare providers depend heavily on the income generated by factory workers. In places where Caterpillar once served as an economic anchor, layoffs have left a gaping hole in the local economy. Reduced household incomes translate to fewer purchases of everyday goods and services. Small business owners, many of whom have operated in these communities for decades, now find themselves scrambling to stay afloat. Some have already reported revenue declines of 20 to 30% within months of Caterpillar's departure. The decline in economic activity also impacts local governments. With fewer employed residents, tax revenues, including property taxes, sales taxes, and business taxes, begin to shrink. Municipalities may struggle to maintain public services such as schools, infrastructure maintenance, and law enforcement. Over time, the economic stagnation can lead to a cycle of decline, with fewer job opportunities and a reduced quality of life for residents. This kind of fallout raises difficult questions about corporate responsibility. Should companies like Caterpillar bear some obligation to support the communities they leave behind? Critics argue that corporations benefit from public infrastructure, tax incentives, and workforce development programs. When they relocate operations in search of cheaper costs, they effectively abandon the very communities that help sustain them. Supporters of Caterpillar's decision, on the other hand, maintain that global competition leaves little room for sentimentality. Companies must prioritize survival in a rapidly changing market. What's happening to Caterpillar's reputation? If customers start losing trust in Caterpillar, what happens next? A company's brand is one of its most valuable assets. For years, Caterpillar's name was synonymous with strength, reliability, and innovation. Contractors, farmers, and industrial operators knew they could count on Caterpillar machinery to get the job done. But trust is fragile, and once damaged, it can take years to rebuild. Market analysts are already raising concerns about how the relocation will impact Caterpillar's reputation. In today's digital age, news of layoffs and outsourcing spreads quickly, social media amplifies public outrage, and customers often hold companies to higher ethical standards than in the past. Stories of communities left in economic ruin and workers facing hardship may influence purchasing decisions, especially among businesses that value corporate social responsibility. Competitors are taking note. Brands that position themselves as more customer-focused and committed to local economies could gain an edge. Caterpillar risks losing key accounts to rivals that promise higher quality service and greater accountability. Moreover, large-scale buyers such as governments and multinational corporations may scrutinize Caterpillar's business practices more closely when awarding contracts. Ultimately, Caterpillar's long-term success depends on its ability to balance financial pragmatism with ethical considerations. The company may win in the short term by reducing labor costs, but if it loses the loyalty of its customers, the financial gains will be short-lived. Trust, once broken, is difficult to repair. And for Caterpillar, that could be the costliest consequence of all. When customers feel trapped, imagine owning a machine you cannot fix yourself. That is the reality for thousands of Caterpillar users today. Farmers, contractors, and business owners who have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on equipment they rely on daily. These machines, which were once entirely mechanical, now run on advanced proprietary software controlling everything from hydraulics to engine performance. The catch? Caterpillar restricts access to this software, meaning only authorized Caterpillars can perform many types of maintenance and repairs. For customers, this creates a frustrating dependency. Take, for example, a farmer who has just entered the critical harvest period. When his tractor breaks down, time is of the essence. Every delay risks the loss of entire crops. Yet without access to Caterpillar's diagnostic tools, this farmer cannot fix his own equipment. Instead, he is forced to wait days or sometimes weeks for a certified Caterpillar technician to arrive, all while the costs from downtime escalate. Contractors face similar hardships. A single breakdown on a major construction site can jeopardize timelines, lead to penalties, or cost clients. What makes it worse is the knowledge that these problems could be resolved quickly if only the right tools and software were made available to them. Many users feel trapped with no option but to pay inflated service fees to Caterpillar's authorized repair network. These restrictive repair policies have transformed ownership into a liability for many customers, creating widespread discontent that is fueling a larger consumer backlash. The hidden revenue stream. Caterpillar's approach to repair restrictions is not accidental. It is a key component of its long-term business strategy. While the company earns significant revenue from equipment sales, its repair services are even more profitable. By restricting access to repair tools and software, Caterpillar effectively ensures a monopoly over the maintenance of its products. This guarantees a steady stream of revenue from repair fees, parts, and service contracts. The profit margins from these services are staggering. Industry analysts estimate that parts and repairs can generate 3 to 6 times more profit than the initial sale of equipment. Once a customer purchases a Caterpillar machine, they become locked into an ecosystem where Caterpillar controls every aspect of upkeep. Whether it is routine maintenance or unexpected malfunctions, the company benefits financially each time its authorized network handles a repair. For many customers, this business model feels exploitative. They argue that once they own a machine, they should have full control over its maintenance. Farmers have been particularly vocal, citing situations where even simple software issues, such as error codes that require a quick reset, cost hundreds or thousands of dollars in technician fees. Small business owners and contractors have echoed similar frustrations, claiming that the repair monopoly stifles their ability to operate efficiently. To Caterpillar, the strategy may appear as a way to sustain profitability in a competitive market, but to its customers, it raises questions about fairness, autonomy, and corporate responsibility. Legal battles over consumer rights. But here's where it gets interesting. States are beginning to fight back. The growing frustration among equipment owners has sparked a wave of legal challenges and legislative efforts aimed at breaking the repair monopoly. This movement, known as the Right to Repair movement, advocates for consumers to have access to the tools, parts, and software necessary to repair their own equipment. Several states have introduced or passed right to repair laws, with Colorado leading the charge by targeting agricultural machinery. Under this legislation, companies like Caterpillar are required to provide repair manuals, diagnostic tools, and software to independent mechanics and consumers. This push has resonated deeply in rural communities, where farmers and small business owners have long felt marginalized by corporate repair policies. However, Caterpillar and other manufacturers argue that restricting access to their proprietary technology is essential for protecting intellectual property and ensuring safety. They contend that without proper oversight, unauthorized repairs could lead to equipment malfunctions or hazards. Critics, however, view these claims as an excuse to preserve profits, pointing out that independent repair professionals are fully capable of maintaining safety standards. The legal battles are intensifying, with each court ruling potentially setting a precedent that could affect industries far beyond heavy machinery. Advocacy groups have mobilized to support these efforts, framing the right to repair debate as a fight for consumer rights in an increasingly digital world. If more states follow Colorado's example, Caterpillar may be forced to overhaul its policies or risk both legal penalties and further erosion of its reputation. For many consumers, this moment represents a turning point. It is not just about Caterpillar. It is about reclaiming the ability to manage and maintain the tools they depend on without corporate interference. The stakes are high and the pressure is mounting. Will Caterpillar adapt to these demands for reform, or will it double down on its restrictive practices? One thing is clear, this battle is far from over. Can Caterpillar turn things around? The path forward is clear. Caterpillar can either adapt or face disaster. Recent backlash over their outsourcing decisions and restrictive repair policies place the company at a crossroads. To regain trust, Caterpillar needs to rethink its strategies and demonstrate that they value both their customers and workers. One critical step could be embracing the growing right to repair movement by granting consumers and independent mechanics access to repair tools and software. Caterpillar could send a powerful message of transparency and fairness. This would not only alleviate frustrations, but also create goodwill among farmers, contractors, and small business owners who rely on their equipment daily. Another key move would be investing in domestic manufacturing once again. Communities affected by layoffs need more than just words. They need jobs and local support. By bringing some production back to the United States, Caterpillar could revitalize its image as a champion of American industry. Additionally, focusing on superior craftsmanship and product reliability could provide a competitive edge in a crowded global market. Caterpillar's reputation was built on trust, quality, and strength. If the company can refocus on these core values, they have a chance to win back loyalty before it's too late. However, time is not on Caterpillar's side. Consumers are increasingly vocal about their rights, and competitors are already moving to fill the gap in trust that Caterpillar has left behind. The decisions made now will determine if the company thrives or becomes a cautionary tale. Competitors smell opportunity. While Caterpillar stumbles, its rivals are stepping up. Competitors see Caterpillar's missteps as a golden opportunity to capture market share. Companies that prioritize customer empowerment and fair repair policies are positioning themselves as attractive alternatives. By offering accessible repair options and promoting consumer rights, these manufacturers are capitalizing on the frustrations Caterpillar's policies have caused. Some competitors are actively marketing their support for independent repair shops, emphasizing lower downtime and faster service. In industries like agriculture and construction, where equipment failures can cause costly delays, reliability and service access are crucial selling points. Brands that adapt to these demands stand to win over longtime Caterpillar customers. This shift could lead to broader market disruption. Manufacturers that invest in customer-friendly practices may set a new industry standard, leaving companies like Caterpillar scrambling to catch up. If Caterpillar doesn't take action soon, they risk losing more than just trust. They could jeopardize their competitive edge in the global market. Rival companies are already gaining ground, positioning themselves as leaders in innovation and consumer advocacy. The people have spoken, and the pressure is mounting. Had enough, right? Drop your thoughts below, and let's discuss ways to stay safe from unexpected pitfalls and completely avoid regret.